All right.
That's where we figure out he kind of just blurs himself.
All right. So this is the public portion for the June 18th, 2017 General Staff Meeting for the Minecraft Rapid Transit server. Welcome, everyone. The staff have concluded their private portion, and we have quite a few announcements to make. I would ask, though, that please stop throwing snowballs, because it is quite annoying, and I do listen to them. Okay, people are not stopping their snowballs. Thank you. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to try to go quickly through the announcements, and then I'll get to the good stuff with the Pro City rank promotions and the screenshot contest results at the very end. So let me first off here. Oh, forgot. Say hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Cool. All right. So the topics in this GSM are actually quite serious. I'm going to mention them. The one that was the first topic, which was not revealed in the title, or the title was not revealed in the status document. Recently on the server, within probably the past few weeks, there have been a couple of individuals. I'm not going to name them, but most of them you probably know who they are. We've had some reports of people stating that they would like to harm themselves on the server or end their life. This is the first time we've had these sort of suicidal threats on the server. So it was good to see that the server community did try to step in and try to get in contact with these people and try to prevent a tragedy from happening. And I was, in some instances, I was about to call the authorities or contact them using personal information from those members, but unfortunately that didn't happen, and I was able to get in contact with some of those individuals. So in the private portion, the staff discussed some strategies of, well, if this sort of thing happens again, like, what can we do about it? I have posted a bunch of links before to members. I'll post them again. 1 second here. I'm going to broadcast this. Hold on. And I'll post it in Mumble as well. 1 sec. Not sure if that got through in Mumble one. Oops. There we go. Okay, so for the people listening on this recording, sorry for the blank part there, but I've posted two sites. One is called whathelpswhathurts.com. The other one is makeitokay.org. These are sites that just give some tips regarding stigmas around depression and anxiety, and particularly the first one, What Helps, What Hurts, gives some tips on how to talk to someone who is in distress or suffers from depression or anxiety or some sort of mental disorder. Because I post this because not just for us staff, but for you guys, if you're on the server, whether it's here on Mumble or on Discord or any sort of MRT related thing, if you see this sort of thing happen, please do report it to staff as soon as possible. But also be also very aware of what you're saying to this person, because even though you may be intending to say try to encourage them, you might actually be doing the opposite, because again, from their perspective, their ways of thinking because of some sort of trauma or their current situation, they might react in a not so great way. So just keep that in mind. The site does give you tips on what to say and what not to say. So I strongly recommend that you go through and read through that. And yeah. Now, if this sort of thing does happen again, I'm not going to hesitate to again contact the authorities if that is necessary. But yeah, yeah. So it's just something to keep in mind. Hopefully, we'll never have to deal with that sort of thing again. But I just want to make sure that people are aware of that.
Also, the thing that goes with that is that, well, ultimately the server is about having fun. This is one of those issues that really isn't to be joked about. So
Yeah.
please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't be joking about wanting to commit suicide, because it's just not that kind of thing.
Or specifically, if you, again, with the whole, there are definitely things that you do not want to say. So if someone is making these sort of threats and you're making jokes about it, or you're laughing at them, or we're essentially making fun of them, that is definitely a no-no here. And yeah, that don't do that, because that you could be threatening someone's life there. So
also don't pretend to be in a suicidal thought or do stuff like that, because we all actually take it very seriously. That's also something to say.
But then again,
Generally don't drink it. Yeah.
But then again, if you are facing serious issues, don't keep quiet about it. If you need to speak to someone that you can trust, if that happens to be a staff member or another member of the MRT server, please just don't keep quiet about it.
Yeah, the thing I do like about this community is that I really did like the response that did come out, or at least most of the response that came out of the recent instance. So, yeah, this is a very tight knit community. I wanted it to be like this. So, don't be afraid to reach out to even your people you build with on here, or that sort of thing. So if you have any questions, and again, if you have any questions about it, or if you've seen this sort of thing happen, feel free to just email me. If you don't feel like emailing all the staff, you can just email admins or email myself directly. I have revealed this to people before, but I currently am in this sort of situation where I do suffer from depression, and I'm not able to work. So yeah, I totally get it, and I totally understand. So, all right, moving on into another serious discussion of a different sort. This next part is about the United Cities, and separately, there have been a couple of incidents. Well, I guess there have been incidents where. Well, let me preface it with this. So when it comes to the United Cities or any sort of self-organized political structure, like the League of Cities, for example, my position from the staff's position here is to basically have a hands-off approach for the most part. You can self-organize in whatever way you want, as long as the server rules are being followed, and that does include respecting others. However, in the last few weeks, I've been informed of some incidents where these rules have been violated. And because of this, I'm going to be stepping in here. Without going into too much detail with one of the particular incidents, JPH Golf 4321, who has recently resigned from as Vice President of the United Cities, because of things that he has said and things that I don't think are reflective of someone I would want as a moderator on the server, I'm going to be demoting him to trial mod instead of mod. There have been calls for his total removal as a moderator, but considering the work and contributions that JPH has made, I feel like that is too harsh of a punishment. However, I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't do anything. So when it comes to trial mod, when we first introduced it last GSM or whatever, or 2 GSMs before, it was originally intended to be for new moderators coming in, so like Gods and Castle, just to they'd be given a probation period about 3 months to see whether they'd be a good fit for the staff team. What I'm going to do is also use the trial mod rank for moderators that are on a warning, essentially. So in the past, I have given moderators single warnings for behavior that I didn't really think was, good for a moderator to do. So for this case, I've just to give it a bit, make it more transparent. I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be if a moderator does get a warning, they will be demoted to trial mod. They'll still have all the same powers as a regular mod, except for the fact that regular mods can temp ban them. And for people, for moderators that are on the warning, they'll have the same 3-month probation period. So JPH will be on that probation period. I honestly don't expect him. He's totally remorseful for his actions. I will say that here. So I totally don't expect him to do any, anything bad to threaten his position. But if in the event that does happen, then he will be fully demoted from that. So that is our new policy going forward. I will say, just to clear everything, none of the mods before this had any warnings. So this is the first warning in quite a while for a staff member. So yeah. And I'll also mention, warnings are not necessarily a bad thing. You can still trust. You can still trust them to. You can still ask them for world edits, and you can still ask them for requests and all that. It is usually deemed as sort of just a sort of a learning experience, because again, not all the staff members are perfect, and sometimes they will make. In JPH's case here, I do think it is just a temporary lapse in judgment. It's something I don't really expect, and it's not a pattern of behavior that I've seen from JPH. So I think it's simply a mistake on his part, and he'll get the appropriate punishment. So yep, that is that. At least with the situation with JPH. With regards to the United Cities as a whole, as I said, I want to keep a hands-off policy off that, because I do want to stress that I do like how the United Cities is being run. I think it's fascinating to me to see how people self-organize into these sort of things, and it does have benefits in terms of, like, people are having fun doing this for the most part. Like they're exploring how to negotiate with other people, how to organize, how to become a member of a political party, and there's some fun role-playing aspects of that, and I don't want to take that away from the server. It's just that if someone crosses the line and takes the United Cities too seriously and causes, disrespect someone else or makes a personal attack against someone else based on some politics, or some fake politics even, that's crossing the line. And if that basically going forward, if that happens again, I may make some more drastic actions with the UC, which could include to dismantling the UC and banning these sort of organizations altogether. So for everyone here, consider this a warning. I'm going to give the UC a chance to reform itself. How that looks like, I'm not sure. It's up to you guys to self-organize, whether it is people wanting to stay in the UC or leave the UC and form their own political organization. That's up to you guys. But again, I have to remind everyone, we're here to have fun. We're here to, pretend we're very important politicians or mayors, and make sure that you're not taking it too far. So
I do also have something to say here. Just remember that even though it is a role play thing, it is a reminder that MRT rules still apply, and that the MRT government, aka the admods, still have final says on certain things. So just be careful when you use a role play, because some people do take it very seriously, in terms of some people may or may not. I'm not saying anyone, but they may think that stuff like United Cities, what they say is final. Do remember that the actual MRT government do have final say on things. But we do want you to have fun.
Yeah, Robin actually made a good point. I almost forgot this. I think most of you know that, the United Cities is not a binding, it's not the government of the MRT. It's just some organization that you guys made up. Though it's come to my attention that maybe some players or some members that haven't been on for a while, they actually have this impression that the United States is the government. And I can say right now, just to clear that up, if you didn't know, that's definitely not the case. The government is the admons and myself, and it is not a democracy. I do have the final say. It is a dictatorship. I do have the final say since I own and pay for the server, but I do ask for feedback from players and my staff members. So, yeah, but I hope this clears up the impression that this is a democracy. It's not a democracy. So, I don't know why Otto's laughing, but I'll ask him later about that. Okay, so that is all regarding the United States. Staff will be monitoring the situation for the next month or so. So we'll keep an eye on that. Moving on. Should read the minutes here. So, yeah, we're going to be, considering that it's summer, we're going to be introducing what we call an events incentive. And this is basically, first off, there is already an events calendar out there. So if you have an event, a major server event that you want to do, something akin to the Amazing Race or like a fireworks show or awards show or whatever, I think expo, conventions, sport events, all those are included. You're welcome to email the admins and send a proposal for adding that event. In addition to this, we will allow players to also ask for a grant of in-game, consisting of in-game money, and this grant can be used for, at least in for award shows or game shows or sport events, they can be used for prize money. There was a lot of discussion in the prior portion about how much money can be asked. We will set a hard limit of a maximum of $10,000 total. So if you have like first, second, third prizes, that would be included in all of that. So a first prize would take a portion of that 10,000, for example. But again, this maximum is mainly for extremely really large events where there's a lot of attendance. So the Amazing Race would probably fit into this category. If you have a smaller event, probably an amount closer to like 2,000 to 5,000 would probably be better. Again, it'll be up to you to email us and propose how much money you want, and then the staff will determine whether to approve it or not. So, yeah, and I guess we didn't mention it. I don't think we'll wait to the next GSM to approve or disapprove, because considering that the events are coming really quickly. So again, if you have an idea for an event and you want some money to help with the cost of running the event or to use for prize money, email the staff with your proposal and we will take a look at it. So, yeah. Anything else I missed, staff, about that?
We'll most likely give you the money after the show has been completed, not before.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So yeah. I hope we'll start to see. I would love to see definitely some more events. I know some people are making some conventions and expos and new sport events. I would like to see some award shows too. So I hope this will encourage people to do that. Moving on, speaking of events, there is I frankly can't believe this server has been here for 5 years, but it's happening. So the 5th anniversary is happening on July 13th. It's a Thursday, though I kind of expect some events would also be happening on the weekend after, like July 15th and so. Staff were just, in the private portion, we're just throwing out some ideas for what we're going to do for that. Again, nothing is set in stone right now, but some ideas we do have is a community build, similar to the Blob Studios live stream that Thomas helped organize back in the old world. We're either going to build a new town or some sort of new amusement park somewhere on the New World. So we'll be trying to find a plot for that. What else do we have? And also, we'll probably add some events, some fun events on the old world, considering the nostalgia and considering it is a historical milestone for the server. So some ideas might be to do a Spleef Arena tournament in the original Spleef Arena in Spawn City. Maybe a deal or no deal game. We'll probably also go to the Redstone Gaming Center for any of. I'm not sure how many of the newer folks even know of that place, but there's a Connect 4 game, some other Redstone games there, assuming they're still working. And we might be doing some events at the MRT International Airport. But again, this is just some ideas, but that's what we're thinking so far. Right, so we'll give you more news as we get closer to that date. And also, if you have any ideas for your own sort of MRT anniversary related event, feel free to submit those as well, because we love member organized events. Okay, I'm gonna try to go through the rest of these. Staff in the private portion did talk about. I'm at 1E right now, so did talk about a Dynmap marker station naming standard for. And frankly, there was no agreement because apparently everyone has fairly different preferences. Some of the things that were discussed first, one question, whether to include the word station in the Dynmap marker. If you look on a lot of markers right now, some markers do have just a city name and some have the city name followed by the word station. So there's some debate around that. Also, the ordering in terms of whether the station code comes first or after. So before or after. So it's either, for example, let me just see if I can bring up an example here. So for example, A18 Foobar Station, or should it be Foobar Station A18? So staff will, for the time being, staff will be just debating it internally. Yeah, well, there's a lot of possibilities that we're going to discuss there. In addition to that, we also talked about replacing the plus sign for supporter tags. If you don't know, there's a bug in Venture Chat right now where I've implemented the mouse overs to work, but there's a bug where if you put your mouse over a supporter tag, it does not show the mouse over. That's because of the plus sign. So we were discussing whether to replace that plus sign with something that does work. We were trying stars earlier this month, sorry, and it that unfortunately didn't work out after the server restart. It doesn't persist. So some possibilities include exclamation mark. So which at least most of the people at this GSM were agreement, but I think one staff member definitely didn't like it. So. And also another possibility was changing the square brackets into squiggly brackets, or changing colors of those brackets, or possibly adding even just a separate square bracket S square bracket afterward. Again, that'll be also discussed, I believe, within staff as well. Yeah, so no decisions were made, essentially, for those last two items. Moving on to 1G, staff. I've received a complaint from a member about staff not replying to requests. Specifically, this person is okay. The question here is not when staff say no to, say, a world edit request, for example, but just to get a reply from them. Unfortunately, there are not enough staff members here to really get a sense of whether this was happening or not. So this topic will be deferred to the next GSM for further discussion. Hopefully more staff members who do these world edits will be here. But we will, at least with the staff I have here, we will be encouraging staff to at least just to reply to people, just to say no or yes, so that players aren't, caught in the middle and caught in limbo there. Next topic is 1H Minecraft 1.12. I will say that last Monday or last week, I did actually spin up the beta server and tried spinning up the updating to 1.12, and as expected, it turned out very badly. Look up what I said here. Well, for one thing, the server did not start, at least with the version that I had of 1.12. I'm suspecting that there's still some updates that need to be done with Spigot and that end, so I'll be trying again next week for that. But even then, even though I couldn't even log on to the server log did notify me of some things, particularly the MyWarp plugin and the Chairs Reloaded plugin, the one that's used for right-click sitting on chairs on the game or staircases. Those ones didn't even start up, so I'm not sure whether those also require updates. So MyWarp is very important, so we are definitely not going to update without that, considering how important it is to a lot of people on the server. So that's a big blocker for us. And also, as a side, we did have to replace our permissions plugin. Z permissions, the one we use right now, absolutely does not work with Minecraft 1.12. So I've replaced it with Luck Perms, which seems to be very similar, and seems to be working at least as far as I could tell from my tests. Also, I'll mention one more thing, kind of related to this. Recently, Mojang, some people have been having trouble with particularly getting skulls in the game, and also with player promotions and setting their groups and all that. I will say that's being caused by Mojang right now. When these sort of commands are done on the server, they do call the Mojang API, which deals with UUIDs for players. And apparently the Mojang is blocking a whole bunch of IPs accessing those requests. It's our suspicion that players, that they're blocking these to try to get at certain servers, very large servers that are violating the EULA. So so that is a problem that we can't really fix on our end. So again, skulls are not working, member promotions are not really working very well. I have to investigate the one that deals with time to make my move, who is actually supposed to be promoted to trustee right now. So I'll be investigating that after and see if I can promote him manually. Right, so that's that. Moving on, there's a little request from Camel Fantasy regarding air-based town transit. With regards to, so the situation here is that there's some towns on the server that are not, or they're definitely not traditional towns that have roads and that they're built in extreme savanna biomes where there's a lot of floating land, and the main method of transport within the city would be air-based, or it's like some sort of air taxi or air balloon or whatever. So in these sort of cases, if you are building such a town, please just go ask a staff member to see if it's okay, and we will treat any sort of air transport that you build in the city that's local as similar to a bus, basically. So if you have plans to build that town, just ask a staff member. They'll give an approval or disapproval. If they have some questions about it, they'll bring it off to the rest of the staff. But for essentially, if you do have that sort of town, it should be essentially approved. So, and finally, there was a question from Silverbarrel regarding barrier blocks. I do know that our policy from the beginning of the server is with regards to barrier blocks. We feel that they cause too much. They can be disorienting for new players and can be abused quite easily. So we are not going to allow any players, even like premiers or trustees and above, to use them as per our policy. However, if you want to ask a staff member to world edit them in, that is allowed if it is for good reason. And also keep in mind, if you do ask for that barrier block, if someone else or yourself accidentally destroys them, a staff member may or may not replace them. So just keep that in mind when you ask for that. Oh wow, 30 people on the server. This is cool. And it's not really lagging, which is great. Okay, so moving on, roads. I was sleeping through this part. It looks like the A50/B515 is approved, proposed by Verncow. This has been approved only as a B road. It is not an A road. If Verncow wants to upgrade this to an A road, he can apply for at the next GSM for this. And I'm really glad that's the only road proposal because I'd probably fall asleep. Next up, we're going on to projects 3A, the Stone Edge Orcus Heliport. SoSo123 has proposed for his airfield as part of a senator rank. He actually wants to build a heliport out in the middle of the sea for this. This has been approved as it is for now, as long as it is limited within the senator airfield limits, block limits. However, and also it must be kept realistic, but if SoSo wants to expand that heliport to a really large airport, if he gets to governor rank, that is not guaranteed and probably will be denied considering the scope. How if it's going to be that large, it'll probably take up the whole bay in that area. So, yeah. So that's that. Next up is the E-Express train line. This was a preemptive proposal by Airplane 320, who is kind of inactive right now, but he's a member, but when he got to councillor rank, he just wanted to make sure that this line was an okay plan. This has been approved, I think. There's a question mark on the minutes, staff. I don't know if that's accurate. Can anyone clarify? Staff?
I believe it was approved as long as he keeps us in the loop and he has permissions.
Okay. Okay. Someone might want to add that to the minutes just to make sure there. Okay, so it's been approved. And finally, 3C, the Central City Amusement Park, proposed by JTrain 77. This has been approved as long as it is in one of the outer plots that were proposed. So around the boundary of the Central City, not in the center part of Central City. And on a side note, as I mentioned before, we might be building a community-built amusement park as well for the 5th anniversary, and some staff members are going to organize that. Further discussions will be coming soon. All right, so I'm going to ram through these town auctions here. So 4A, Mike 24 Jude wants F4 I4. This has been denied because he hasn't expanded enough into F3 I3 based on the opinion of staff. So he needs to continue building that before we can do that. Next up is an unnamed town at 9662, 68, 550, 60. This is east of the Plains and Eastern line at P20, P21, I believe, if I'm getting that right. Or P30, P31, I'm sorry. This one has been approved on the condition that if he intends to also build the town there. Because based on the email that we received, it seemed like he just wanted to build a rail line there, which doesn't really make sense to an abandoned town. So it is approved if he is going to build the town there as well. Next up is 4C, P22, and P23. Modern Art would like these towns. This has been denied because we the staff feel that he's been requesting too many towns, and he needs to build up the existing towns that he has before we can consider giving them here. I will say at least for P22 and P23, if other players want these towns, they will be up for general auction for the next GSM. So if you want to perhaps take over these towns, please send an email to staff if you're interested. Moving on to C46, Mervyn Ang wants this one. This one has been deferred because we're concerned of how close C46 is close to the V28, the end of the Valley Line, where there is a town there. And we need to talk to the deputy mayor of that town before we can move forward with this. Just to be clarified, C46 is the intersection of the Circle Line and the Valley Line, so it is a fairly important station. Next up is D13. Narnia 17 wants to expand Utopia northward to this little town. This has been approved. Next up is C82. InDev wants to expand his town into this area. This has been approved on the condition, after staff investigated, Minecraft Yoshi 26 is apparently the deputy mayor. So we're just going to quickly ping him once he's available, and if he's okay with it, then we will give this to InDev. And finally, ZS25, Burncow wants this town. We are going to deny this one because Burncow's actual town at the next station, ZS26, doesn't look as built up as we'd like it. So once he's built up ZS26 first, then we will consider proposals for ZS25. Okay, a few last topics here. 5A, the next GSM date. I just threw a feeler to the staff that were at the GSM today to see how busy it is. And it does look like it seems July is a very busy month for staff and probably also players as well. I will say also because of the 5th anniversary and a bunch of all other events, it may not be likely that there'll be at least a GSM or at least a full GSM. There might be maybe a mini GSM just to go through town auctions and proposals and that sort of stuff. But yeah, so don't expect a July GSM. Probably the next big one will probably be in August. But we'll have final details of that later on. And an additional little added topic there. We have realized that it seems like this server likes fads, and the current trend nowadays seems to be everyone wants to build a Spleef arena. We're not going to restrict those because we just lifted the whole stadium restriction. But we may be setting up or starting to test. God will be testing some command blocks that we may be able to install into some Spleef arenas, so that at least staff won't be hobbled by all these sort of world edit requests to reset the Spleef arena. So we'll be testing that out. We'll probably not go with a plugin. Spleef plugin, considering how the amount of setup time for that is, but we'll see. So yep, and okay, so that is the end of the announcements for the private portion. Here comes the big stuff. I guess we'll start with the city rank promotion. Let me post the feedback document. So give me 1 sec here. All right. So the link there. So for this batch number 13, we did have a bunch of different candidates. Unfortunately, there are no governor or premier promotions this time around. However, we do have 3 new senators, and this does include a player promotion. I may not be able to promote you immediately because of the problems with the UID and all that stuff, but I will try to get that fixed as soon as possible. So the 3 new senators are High Tech TR for the city of Woodsdale, Surats for the city of Debeco, and Mossy 1810 for the city of Verdantium. I will promote them as soon as I can figure out how to fix the permissions plugin. So please be patient for that. And yes. Moving on. Again, all the feedback is available all the feedback from staff is available on that document. So please go view that. And and interestingly enough, we're going to continue doing the monthly batches. So the next one will be probably starting at the beginning of July. We do like the staff do like it because it is a nice smaller number of cities to look through. Interesting enough, for this batch, all of the votes were unanimous, which hasn't really happened before. There's usually dissent and disagreement whether a city is worthy of a senator or governor rank. But this time around, everybody who voted either said yes or no, which was interesting. Okay, and now for the results of the MRT Screenshot Contest 2017. Let me post this document. Make sure this is the right one here. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Actually, no, hold on. Staff, don't post the. You know what? We're gonna do this. I'm gonna announce this from 5th place up. I think that's more exciting. Okay, so hold on here. Trying to set it. All right. So thanks. First off, thank you for everyone for submitting their screenshots. A lot of them were very high quality, and I was kind of worried about because it's public voting, people would be voting, based on popularity of they'd be basing on the person rather than the screenshot. But overall, the votes actually turned out how I expected. They do kind of match my opinions of the screenshots. So I will discuss with some of the winners, or at least the top 10 of whether or not I can use that on the website. I should have probably put that on the rules there. But yeah. So starting off with 5th place with a average score of 7.48. This person will get a prize of 1,000 in-game dollars. The winner for 5th place is Godzilla Train with his submission Central Park in the Morning. And obviously, the person who broadcasts is God, so he kind of already knew the result. So, yeah. Next up is 4th place with an average score of 7.52. This person will get a $2,000 prize. 4th place goes to Camel Fantasy, Fort Yaxier Central Station. I'll make sure to pay out the prizes right after the GSM here. I mispronounced it? Okay, well, whoops. I'm not perfect.
Here.
Yeah, whatever. So next up is 3rd place with an average score of 7.59. This person will get $3,000 of in-game money. This one goes to MC Protocol with his submission of Refreshing Day in Victoria. Not sure if MC is actually here. All right. Here comes 2nd place with an average score of 7.86. 2nd place will get $5,000 of in-game money. 2nd place goes to Mossy_1810 for his submission of Rainy Night in Verdantium. And finally, for the winner of the MRT Screenshot 27 Contest 2017, with an average score quite a bit higher than everyone else, 8.17. This first place person will get $10,000 of money. The winner is Mike Roma with his submission of Cop Report.
$1,000. Clap.
10,000. I'm going to post the document of all the results and all the final score. 1 second. Yep. All other entries will get $100. I'll be also paying that out after the GSM. So yeah, congratulations to the winners. And now I can actually go update the old screenshots on the website, hopefully. So I'll go ask the winners if they're okay with adding the screenshot to the website. And yeah, thanks everyone for that. Oh, okay. So that is all for the at least the public portion announcements I have. It's now actually time for the Q&A and open floor. So if you have a question, concern, comment, complaint, try not to insult us because that's kind of rude. Please PM me either in Mumble or in game, and I will add you as your name. Please don't ask your full question yet because I'm not going to remember that. So just say you have a question, and I will add you to the queue, and we will start from there. All right, I think that's enough time. Okay, so first up, Autobus apparently has 5 things to say, so go for it.
First, apologize for laughing. I still have my thing on voice recognition from The Amazing Race. Didn't intend to laugh at your face.
That's that. Whatever. Okay.
Second, for the screenshot contest, wouldn't it be better if the top 12 screenshots were used again for the website, just like last time, to keep it consistent?
I don't know. I'll in this case, I think I'll use my own personal judgment which screenshots to add on there. I will definitely add maybe at least the top 5 or top 10, maybe the top 12. I don't know. It'll be up to me. So.
I think that's it. I just
Really?
realized. Yeah.
Okay.
Forget it.
Cool. Thanks for your question. Moving on, Sesh Penguin, you have a question? Feel free to. I'm not sure if you're typing it out or not, or you can say it in Mumble. Oh, you're PMing me. You're PMing in game. His question says, Sesh Penguin's question is, can I build some small redstone minigame things in my town? It would depend on what kind of things those are. Generally, when it comes to those sort of things, it's usually best if you put them on the games world, because that's what the games world is supposed to be for. If you're using them to integrate within your town, I'd say just ask a staff member and see if they're okay with it. If it's something very large, it would probably belong or something very complex, I guess. It would probably better belong in the games world. But if it's something fairly straightforward, then I think it should be okay. Just ask a staff member and see ask their opinion for it. Okay, moving on. Fred the Time Lord, you have a question? And feel free to either say it in Mumble or PM me. Baseball, I did get you. You're on the queue. And Gods, you're in the queue as well. So. Okay, here's Fred's question. Regarding how certain towns will be able to receive local air travel, would it be possible for larger cities to also be applicable? Probably. I'm not going to. Probably not. I will say again. We're kind of making a specific exception for cities where it makes sense. So if your city does not rely on any sort of traditional intra-city transit. That includes buses, metros, or roads even, or cars even, that sort of thing. Then, in that case, if it makes more sense to have an air taxi system or an air balloon system, that is okay. If you have a really large city, I think we're not going to touch that right now. We're going to at least see how this works for the cities that actually do need it first. So,
Yeah, right now it's mainly aimed at those towns where the terrain is challenging, so a standardized bus route or indeed minecart system would be infeasible.
cool. Did I turn? Whoops, where am I? Oh, sorry. I'm talking to the side here. Okay. All right. Does that answer your question, Fred? I hope.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Burn Cow, I believe, I'm not sure if you can even hear this, but his question to me, basically, he says his auction request is denied, but he needs to expand more. I don't know, but he can't expand because the town he requested isn't within 180 blocks. I will say that, well, that's based on the literal interpretation of the rules, but if you expand to away from that town, that should be okay. So I'm not sure if someone can actually just tell him that. I might have to PM him directly here. Okay, so I PM Burn Cow for that. Next up, Gods, what's your question?
Just a fairly minor point here. I was just wondering, with the new photos, are you still planning on keeping the old ones on the website or a full replacement?
I think I'm gonna lean toward replacing them. Like those screenshots have been there for 2 years, or more than 2 years even. So I think it's time to freshen them up.
Okay, thank you.
Next up is baseball.
Yes. So for Survivor, I claimed an island for in the new world, but I'll be building the challenges in the games world. Is it? But it's going to be a temporary thing. So is it possible to like clear the island once the game is done?
It sounds like you'd want to roll back there. Generally, we don't do rollbacks except for like griefing. But how large are your games?
I
Baseball.
think it's more to the fact that
I'm claiming
Sorry,
an
carry
island of Well, I already claimed the island. I'm not sure what size it is, but it's pretty big.
Okay.
It's gonna take place in several areas of the island. Like there's gonna be 2 camps and tribal council.
Okay.
Sorry, I think the main issue there is that the part of the game will involve kind of being in or doing the whole survival gameplay, digging up land to get blocks and such. So it may just need a rollback afterwards to reset it to the original state.
Okay. Yeah. Baseball, if you could just send an email to staff, just outlining like the size of it, like what kind of things are happening. I will also posit that maybe, considering how many islands are there and how actually not very many people have claimed them, if it's easier, we could also just leave it there on those islands, just as posterity, if that's easier. Again, also because rollbacks tend to be something that I don't want to do too often. It is very CPU intensive and sometimes doesn't completely roll back things. So by rolling it back, it might actually damage the island more, depending on what happens. So yeah.
All right.
Cool. Next up, PTLD.
So, Frumple, I'm wondering on the wiki if you can give wiki members permission to move pages without leaving a redirect. A thing only staff can do right now.
Without a redirect, I'd have to.
Yoshi's the main one deleting these pointless redirects right now.
Can I explain
something?
what
And
means?
normal members can't do that.
Basically, what it means is when you move a page on the wiki, the old page name is automatically a redirect to the new page. But staff members can move a page without having that redirect, so it basically deletes the old page and moves it to a new page.
Okay.
It's because normal members can't delete pages. Like in order to delete a page, when you move it, you have to be able to delete it, and we can't really give you that.
If you go into an edit on any other page and just in the URL replace whatever that page's name is with what the redirect is, you can edit that page to have a deletion request on for a staff to then address.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the point of how this like those are the default settings I would imagine. I don't think I know Chief was the one changing those settings. I'm not sure if he did it, but there's probably good reason for doing that. So yeah, I don't know if I don't think that doesn't sound like it's safe basically if I allowed members to not have redirects there. So
yeah, just ask a staff member if that occurrence does take place, and we'll be able to do it for you.
Again, I don't know everything about the wiki, so yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
I also want to ask,
Extreme, sorry, hold on. You need to, so I'll send this right now. If you need to ask a question, please either PM me, either in game or on Mumble, and I will call your name to allow you to ask your question or comment or whatever.
Okay.
Next up is Skelly Zomperman.
Okay, MRT News Channel got some fan mail, and I was told to ask the question, are there restrictions on Spleef Arenas by Captain Chimpy with nothing else attached to it? I didn't know if he means is the restriction on the size of the Spleef Arena on how many Spleef Arenas you can have?
There are no restrictions.
It will come under standard stadium restrictions, so a small community. Hang on, last time we reduced it to 21.
No, we got rid of those.
Yeah, so
there's no restrictions. Yeah. So we can have as many Spleef Arenas as you want. Do keep in mind, though, that if you're using that arena for, I don't know, say, being considered for promotion, it doesn't look very good if you have a counselor level town that has a humongous football arena next to it or a Spleef Arena. Yeah, staff are not going to be very pleased about that. So just keep that in mind.
And while we're on the topic, just to go into some more about the command blocks to reset the arena, I will be trialing it in probably a couple of locations in a couple of days. Assuming that all goes to plan, we'll be able to roll it out to more Spleef Arenas.
Okay, cool. Skelly, is that the only fan mail I got?
Yeah, that's the only fan mail that has been given to MRT News Channel.
That's kind of disappointing, but okay. Anyway. All right. So, okay, Extreme F, your question is, I'm reading your PM here. When will the server be upgrading to 1.12? Every time someone asks this,
it delays it by a month.
That, but also I need to post a link, one sec, of how much work it is. Hold on, where is it?
Fumble, can you post that link in Mumble too?
I mean, this link is not totally relevant, but I've been posting this to other people who have asked about it, and basically it'll come when it comes. But as I said in earlier in the GSM, I did go on beta. I did try it on beta server. It does not work at the moment. It doesn't even allow me to log in, and I do know that some plugins are not even compatible. So there is a lot of work to be done to, not on my part, but also plugins to update, Spigot to update, to get this working. And don't expect it for any time soon. I did warn people from previous GSMs that it would probably be on the scope of several months before we'd be able to get this going. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I've reached the end of my queue, so if you guys have any other further questions, comments, and all that stuff, please PM me now, either in Mumble or in game.
Wait, are funny questions allowed?
Sorry?
Are topics that are not serious allowed or not?
Let me see if I can get through. Maybe I'll do another call after, but I'm just going to see if we can get any serious questions first here. That's not a serious question, gods. Skelly, that's not actually a question either. Okay. Okay, fine. No non-serious questions are allowed. So gods, Your question is, how many tacos have you had in the last month? I'd say about, if you include taco salad, I don't know how many tacos that would be. 30? I don't know.
Frumple, what do you like best about tacos?
They're crunchy, and you can they cover a lot of food groups. They're nutritious. They're delicious.
And a taco a day keeps the doctor away.
Sure. Skelly, what's your question?
We held a trustee meeting earlier in the day and attempted to deliver to you our proclamation to ask for another band guest to be promoted to trustee. This guest is Chan 04 Steven, actually.
I think he tried that and Mojang being stupid.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I actually can't. Sorry, there's someone.
I'll click that link. I just put in Mumble Chat. Pretty much you have to send an email to Mojang to get unblocked.
That's pretty okay. Well, maybe I'll probably contact them soon. But it is this ban list is apparently affecting a whole bunch of servers, so it's causing a lot of problems for a lot of smaller servers here. So yeah. But yeah, going back to that, I can't actually promote anyone automatically right now. I'm gonna investigate it right now, see if I can do it by some other means. But yeah. Apologies to time to make my move and the senator candidates. I will try to fix that as soon as possible.
No, I mean we proposed that the band guest Chan 04 Steven be promoted to trustee.
Yeah, I get it. I actually can't do that because of the Mojang issue. So
just to say something about that, I was able to do Scroll fine, while the GSM was happening.
Sorry. So again, it's blocking certain API requests. Some may work, some may not. So it's not exactly sure why they're what's going on here. So
and addressing that link about requesting to be removed from that blacklist, that's about a separate issue, which is to do with Minecraft has blacklisted the server, so no one can log into it.
Oh, so it's not even that.
No,
okay.
It has nothing to do with that.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably maybe tweet at Mojang support or something and see what's going up with that. Otto, what? Do you have a question?
I do have a question. It might be a bit of a strange one, but because people always ask you for food and such, have you tried that? Have you tried that? Have you tried that? Wouldn't it be a good idea to open a PO box?
Do you know how much those cost?
They cost a lot, yeah. And also,
it's too much. I didn't know it was very expensive there.
In Canada, they do cost a lot. And also, if you want to support me, I'd rather you just go through the supporter, the Bycraft portal, and just become a supporter or pay more there. That's probably the best way. I'm actually not much of a food fan. I just like tacos, so yeah. I'm not much of a foodie.
I love food.
Hey, Frumple.
Yes?
You like jazz?
It's actually quite a nice genre.
Moving on. J-Train has asked a question. What will be the fate of the giant even central city? On further investigation, it was determined that was built by Castle. It's not a really... I did talk with him about it. I didn't feel like it was a very authorized build, considering... But based on what I've seen, it does seem to be incomplete. So I've asked Castle to try to complete it as soon as possible. It will stay there, assuming Castle does complete it. So.
Oh, and on that topic as well, we've noticed there are quite a few plots in Central City that have been started on and finished. If you would like to take over one of these, just speak to a staff member who will be able to give it to you if it is indeed inactive.
Yeah. I'll answer this also from Gods here. I was discussing about adding higher supporter ranks, for people who donate a lot. That I was kind of half joking there during the private portion. It might be something I could do, but based on how the permissions plugin worked, that would require adding brand new ranks, and it would actually be a lot of work. So there are no plans right now to add additional supporter ranks, or even what kind of perks those ranks would have, because I have no idea right now.
Oh, Frank, stop.
More exclamation marks?
Let's not think about that right now. Burn Cow has a question. Would you consider doing town auctions more often than just GSM? No, because that's the point of the GSM. It allows us to collate all the requests, all the auctions, all the projects, and just go through them together as staff, because it's enough of a problem to get staff to meet up. I'm a little disappointed by the attendance by staff this weekend, but it is kind of understandable considering it's Father's Day and there's a lot of in real life stuff that obviously takes precedence over this. But at the same time, a lot of staff did say yes. They did say that they would attend it. So I'm not sure what to think about that. So
didn't realize it was Father's Day, probably.
Possibly. Okay, so Autobus has another serious question.
Yeah, you were talking about the solution for the tags and the tag for supporter ranks. There are various ideas. What about letting people submit ideas and cast out the impossible ideas and then let people vote on it? Because at the end, it's the tag that the supporters will be getting. So
considering that the amount of disagreement within the staff, I don't really want to open that can of worms.
There is a solution to that by using a proportional vote system.
No, that you're just complicating things. I kind of don't want to.
No, I kind of meant something similar to the screenshot contest voting.
Yeah, nope, don't want to. But let me just say that managing the screenshot contest was enough voting that I want to deal with in the current time. Having polls for the Dynmap station standard or the supporter tag suffix, I feel like that's better off having the staff discuss it amongst themselves, and then I'll make a final decision. I feel like that's and I will also say, with regard to the prefix, one possibility is that we'll just simply keep things the way they are. So the plus will still be there. It's just that the mouse over won't work, and the fact that the mouse over doesn't work, it's not a big deal, actually. It doesn't really show very much. But yeah, so I'll probably try to make a final decision on those things, at least before the next GSM. So
see you later.
See you, Thomas.
Bye, Thomas. Thanks for coming. Any other things you guys want to talk about?
Will you remember to stop this audio recording like you did?
Probably.
Oh, good.
You should write Fred Rail.
Make me.
Plug for Fred Rail.
All right.
I think he literally is from Bill.
I might have to do a shot call soon. I see multiple people. Multiple bogeys.
What about rolling then? Yeah.
I think that is all, unless someone has a serious question.
Yep. Okay.
Going once. Going twice.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Sold!
Thanks for coming to the GSM, folks. I hope that was informative and interesting for you. Now I'm going to try to fix this whole rank situation with the senators and time to make my move. So thanks for coming, guys. See you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.